Why does cheap food taste better than it should? It is a question that seems almost absurd to ask. We are taught that quality costs more. A fine steak is expensive. A fresh, ripe mango can be pricey. Yet, a bag of brightly colored chips, a frosty soda can deliver a burst of satisfaction. The answer is not an accident. It is a carefully crafted science. Food manufacturers have become masters of flavor engineering. They design tastes that capture your attention and refuse to let go. These are not just simple tricks. They are sophisticated strategies built on decades of research into what makes us want to eat more. This is not about nutrition. It is about making food irresistible. Think of a popular snack. The crunch is loud and satisfying. How exactly do they build a flavor that is so hard to resist? It starts in a laboratory, not a kitchen. Food companies invest millions into research and development. Their goal, find the most compelling combination of sensations. They employ food scientists and sensory analysts running countless tests. These are not casual taste tests. They are rigorous experiments measuring every aspect of the eating experience. Participants rate products on dozens of attributes: initial flavor impact, lingering aftertaste, crispness of the first bite, how the food melts in the mouth. The data from these tests is invaluable. This process reveals patterns in human preference. Scientists found that while individual tastes vary, certain combinations of stimuli have nearly universal appeal. They've identified specific ratios and concentrations of key ingredients to maximize desirability. This is a game of numbers and optimization. The objective: appeal to the broadest audience with maximum intensity. A methodical, data-driven approach to creating pleasure. The result: a flavor profile not found in nature, an artificial construct engineered to be maximally rewarding. This engineering goes beyond the basic tastes of sweet, salty, sour, bitter. It creates a dynamic sensory journey. Example: a snack chip engineered to have a loud, sharp crunch, signaling freshness and satisfaction. Then, a wave of intense seasoning, balanced salt and savory chemicals. Finally, fat melts on the tongue for a rich, smooth finish that makes you reach for another. At the heart of hyper-palatable food design lies a powerful trio: sugar, fat, salt. These three ingredients are the workhorses of the processed food industry. Cheap, versatile, they have a profound effect on our brains. Each one provides a distinct and pleasurable sensation, but combined in the right proportions, their effect is magnified. This combination is the secret formula that makes inexpensive foods feel luxurious. Food scientists have spent decades perfecting the blend to hit the bliss point. Sugar is the most straightforward. It gives a quick, clean hit of sweetness. The human brain is hardwired to seek sugar. Sweetness often signals quick energy, like ripe fruit. Manufacturers add sugar to sodas, cereals, yogurts, pasta sauces. Too little is bland. Too much is cloying. The bliss point is the peak of pleasure. Fat adds a different dimension. It does not taste strong but gives rich, creamy texture and substance. Food scientists call this mouthfeel. Fat coats the tongue and carries flavors, making them last. It also signals satiety and richness in the brain. Cheap vegetable oils and processed fats add this feeling cheaply. Salt is the flavor enhancer. It acts like a spotlight, making flavors brighter. It can suppress bitterness and elevate sweetness. Combine sugar, rich mouthfeel of fat, and the flavor-enhancing power of salt. You get a sensory explosion. The story of engineered cravings does not end on the tongue. The most important part of the process happens inside the brain. Our brains have a sophisticated reward system designed to help us survive. It encourages us to repeat behaviors that are beneficial, like eating, drinking, socializing. A key player in this system is a brain chemical called dopamine. For a long time it was called the pleasure molecule. Not quite accurate. Think of dopamine as the motivation molecule. It is less about pleasure itself, and more about the drive to seek that pleasure again. When you eat something intensely flavorful, especially foods high in sugar, fat, salt, your brain releases a surge of dopamine. The surge acts like a bright yellow highlighter, marking the experience as important and worth remembering. It essentially tells your brain, hey, pay attention. This was good. Let's do it again. The brain forms a powerful association between the food and reward. This is not conscious thinking. It is a deep, primal learning mechanism happening automatically. Our ancestors might stumble on a honeycomb or a patch of ripe berries once in a while, triggering a natural dopamine response. Today, we are surrounded by hyper-palatable foods engineered to trigger the system repeatedly with an intensity natural foods rarely match. A can of soda, a bag of chips, can deliver a dopamine hit far more potent and immediate than a piece of fruit. Repeated, intense stimulation can change how the brain works. Over time, the brain can become less sensitive to dopamine. You need more intensely flavored food to get the same reward. It is the same basic mechanism underlying addiction. There's a very simple reason why cheap food is dominated by the trifecta of sugar, fat, and salt. Sugar, in the form of high-fructose corn syrup, it is subsidized and abundant. Fat, processed vegetable oils and animal fats are far cheaper. High-quality olive oil, fresh butter. Salt. Salt is one of the cheapest commodities on the planet. For a food manufacturer seeking high profit margins, these three ingredients are the perfect tools. They allow companies to create a powerful flavor experience for pennies, masking the bland, low-quality nature of other bulk ingredients. Refined flours, starches. This focus on cost leads to a process of optimization. The goal is not to create the best possible food. It is to create the most profitable food, finding the cheapest combination of ingredients that will still produce the desired sensory response. Fresh ingredients, vegetables, fruits, are often expensive, perishable, variable in quality, difficult to build a consistent mass-market product around. Processed ingredients are stable, uniform, and easy to handle in a factory. They give manufacturers complete control over the final product, ensuring every bag of chips and every bottle of soda tastes exactly the same, no matter where or when it is purchased. This consistency is a crucial part of the appeal. The human brain loves predictability. When you buy a familiar brand of snack, you know exactly what you're going to get. There are no surprises. This reliability creates a sense of comfort and safety. Let's trace how this all comes together to form a powerful, often unconscious habit. Imagine you are at a gas station feeling a little tired and hungry. You see a brightly colored display of candy bars. The packaging is familiar. Your brain recalls past experiences and recognizes this as a quick, easy source of reward. This is the cue. The cue triggers a craving, a desire for the dopamine surge tied to that specific candy bar. The craving is not just for food, it is for the feeling. You buy the candy bar and take the first bite. The combination of sugar, fat, a hint of salt, immediately floods your senses. This is the routine. Your brain's reward system releases a burst of dopamine. This is the reward. Dopamine reinforces the loop, strengthening the link between cue and reward. Cue, craving, routine, reward, can take minutes, but its effects last. Now imagine a fast food meal. The cue, the golden arches seen from the highway. The craving, that familiar taste of a salty, fatty burger and crispy fries. The routine, pulling into the drive-thru then eating the meal. The reward, deep savory satisfaction. Salt, fat, sugar, bun, and sauce, umami. Each loop you complete strengthens the neural pathway. Your brain gets faster at spotting the cue and triggering the craving. This is the emotional high point of the system. The engineered design of the food leads to habit formation. The food was not just made to be eaten, it was made to be habit-forming. Companies are not selling a product, they are selling a routine. A reliable, repeatable loop of desire and satisfaction. That is why it is so hard to eat just one. Understanding the science behind engineered cravings is the first step toward regaining control. When you know that a food has been specifically designed to make you overeat, it changes your relationship with it. You can start to see the craving not as a personal failure of willpower, but as the predictable outcome of a sophisticated marketing and engineering strategy. This knowledge is empowering. It allows you to observe your own desires from a distance and make a more conscious choice about how to respond. The goal is not to demonize these foods, but to demystify them. One of the most effective strategies is to slow down. The hyper-palatable experience is designed to be fast and overwhelming. By eating more slowly and mindfully, you give your brain a chance to catch up with your stomach. Pay attention to the actual taste and texture. Is it really as good as you remembered, or is it just a loud, one-dimensional blast of salt and sugar? Often, when you really focus on the sensation, you will find that the food is less satisfying than the craving promised it would be. This can help weaken the reward signal in your brain. Another powerful tool is to consciously reintroduce your palate to simpler, more natural flavors. When you are used to the intense stimulation of processed foods, natural foods can seem bland. But over time, as your brain adapts, you will start to appreciate the subtle sweetness of a carrot, the earthy flavor of a mushroom, the crisp tartness of a fresh apple. This process is like turning down the volume on your taste buds. It allows you to hear the quieter, more complex notes that natural foods have to offer. Mixing in more whole foods helps reset your baseline for what tastes good. The cycle of engineered craving is powerful, but it is not unbreakable. By becoming aware of the cues that trigger your cravings, by slowing down your eating, and by gradually reintroducing your brain to the pleasures of simple, whole foods, you can begin to loosen its grip. It is a process that requires patience and awareness, not perfection. Every small choice, to opt for an apple over a candy bar, or to cook a simple meal at home instead of going through a drive-thru, helps to build a new, healthier habit loop.